All right, number 7, we're going to identify the relative maxima or minima and intervals on which the function is decreasing and or increasing. So as we look at this graph, we can see we first want to find maximum. We want to know what the maximum is and then where is it at. And as you can see, the at says x equals, so that's the x coordinate. So the maximum would be a peak or a hill. So right here at the ordered pair 8, 1, x is -8, and the y value is -1. So where it occurs, the x value is -8, and consequently, the value of that maximum is the y coordinate, which is -1. The relative minimum would be the valley or the low point. And so we see a low point here, the ordered pair -4, 9. Again, we want to give its location as the x coordinate and the value of that minimum as the y coordinate. So the minimum is -9 and the value or where it occurs is -4. Increasing intervals, the first part as increasing. So as we read this graph going from left to right, this graph is going upward. Okay, don't worry about the down arrow. This means it's coming from the left side from -infinity. This graph continues. So it's coming from -infinity and it is increasing until we get to the x coordinate of 8. So from -infinity to 8 to -8. So B and C would match, so we can eliminate A and D as possible answer choices. And then we also have another increasing part going from left to right, starting at the x value of -4 going to positive infinity on the positive side. So -4 to positive infinity. And the only one that matches there is C out of those two. And then we're going to look at decreasing interval. So going down from left to right, this graph is decreasing between the x coordinate of -8 and -4. So from -8 to -4. That will be answer choice B. All right, number 8, we're going to graph the function, estimate intervals where the function is increasing or decreasing, and then we're going to do any relative maxima or minimum. Okay, so we're going to start by graphing this function. We're going to make a table. F of x equals 7 minus the absolute value of x. All right, so all we need is a couple points. Let's just use x, y. We'll let x be -2 and +2. Let's also do 0 as well. -2, 0, +2. We're going to be plugging in these values. Absolute value will make a negative positive. So this will be 7 minus 2, which will give us 5. So we're looking at the order pair. X is -2, y is +5. If I plug in 0, 7 minus 0 just gives us 7. Okay, so we have 0, 7. So let me write this as an ordered pair. -2, 5, 0, 7. And I think all we really need is 2, so I'm not going to do the order pair 2, plug that one in. We're going to go ahead and enlarge this graph. I guess I tried to do it before. Let me clear. And then we're going to tell it we want absolute value graph. We're going to go to the order pair -2, +5, and then we're going to go to the order pair 0, 7, which it seems like they want us to graph the vertex first, the very center of this graph. So I'm wondering if I shouldn't be graphing the 0, 7 first. Let me check this last point just to verify. If I plug in 2, we have 7 minus absolute value of 2. which gives us 5. So we have the positive order pair 2, 5. So let's make sure all 3 of these points match, and that'll help us out. So again, let me start with the center, and then let me graph, start at 0, then let me graph 2, 5. See, my graph has changed directions. Negative 2, 5. And if I was to graph positive 2, 5, yeah. So when you graph these, you can't just start with one of the leftmost points. You want to start with the, I guess, 0 in the middle, so it gets the vertex correct, and then everything else will follow. All right, so now we want to determine the intervals where it is increasing. So going up, left to right, this is from negative infinity, that runs off from negative infinity, increasing until we get to the x value of 0. That's when it stops. So negative infinity to 0. All right, determine intervals on where it is decreasing. So this graph starts going down from 0 all the way to positive infinity. It's decreasing from 0 going all the way to the right side of positive infinity. So we'll say 0 to infinity. And then the function has a relative maximum. So this mountaintop is also will be a peak, a high point. The maximum occurred at this ordered pair 0, 7. So the value was at 7, and the location is 0. This actually would be an absolute maximum. It is the highest point on the graph, since no point above the graph goes above it. No point on the graph goes above it. And then relative minimum. Okay, so since this graph goes down without bound, it goes to negative infinity, which means it's going toward negative infinity. It never reaches it. We don't actually have a low point. We don't see that valley scenario. So this function will not have a relative minimum.